Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction to read through for Omniscient Reader or Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint chapters 91, 92, and 93. Continuing on from here, we kind of got cliffhung last time with this little girl, and we're doing this kind of setup that I feel like I've seen a bit. I talked about it last time, where it feels like the kind of thing that you saw a couple times in Avatar The Last Airbender, where like Sokka would be like, this is sketchy, and there would be like really like reasons why he was being paranoid or whatever, and then finally nobody would believe him, boy who called wolf, but he would like nobody would believe him when he was actually like, no, this is actually sketchy. This seems like that kind of thing where we set up so many times of Suyeong being like, don't trust these people, don't trust this little girl, etc. And like it was just played off as paranoia, or played off as her being mean by Sangha and Dokja. And we went through that a couple times. So now she's actually stopping this girl by like sending a weapon at her, and Sangha is pissed, but she's probably going to be right. So yeah, that's kind of the setup that I'm getting here. Either way, I guess there's not really too much else to say. I have heard that the chapters get shorter, or the chapters get shorter as the series goes along. So in the future, I might do more than 3 a video. But the thing is, what I've learned from doing the long, because the past 3 read-throughs I did for Chainsaw Man were very long, and what I learned from them is that's actually not the best way to go through it, I think. Because I feel like there were so many times when there were things that I could have been discussing or theorizing on, but because I was just, going from one thing to the next, I wasn't really like theorizing as much. Like I wasn't sitting with a week to think about what was happening between one situation and another situation, just speed running through them. So I think with that in mind, it's actually a better idea for me to take my time, do 3 at a time, and just really, really have time to digest them. But either way, that aside, let's keep reading. Wait, you're not going anywhere. What do you think you're doing? And hold on, let me make sure the chapter's showing up for you. Okay, just making sure. What do you think you're doing? You know what to do, right, Dokja? That's why you had to stay the night here. Damn it, I was hoping she wouldn't notice. Are you going to act like a hypocrite again, just because she's a little girl? So, you're going to keep playing the good guy, is that it? Then alright then, I'll have to be the villain again. Stop. Move. Are you going to kill her? Kill her? But she's just a regular girl. Why? A regular girl. Dokja, tell her, before I blow my lid off and kill them both. And then, in 5 days, she'll end up destroying Seoul. Constellation, Abyssal Black Flame Dragon, smiles. She is the final catastrophe of the 5th scenario. She looks surprised. Many constellations are intrigued with how the scenario is unfolding. And then, Singularity Part 5. That night, the girl did not die. Sangha didn't want us to kill her. And I agreed with her. And now Suyeong's pissed. Do what you want. The catastrophe of floods, the final catastrophe of the 5th scenario, is the most dangerous and the most tragic catastrophe. A catastrophe? So she's a catastrophe. I've put her to sleep using my pressure point skill, like the catastrophe of questions. They're similar, but different. She doesn't look like a catastrophe no matter how much I look at her. How's she going to become a catastrophe in just 5 days? Character profile Shin Yu-sung, age 11. Supporting constellation none. 2 constellations are currently showing interest. Personal attribute Beast Tamer rare and Introspective Killer normal. Personal skills Taming 5, Interspecies Communication 7, Agile Feat 6, Interspecies Friendship 4. Stigma none, and stats are pretty low, 12, 12, 16, and 24. Overall evaluation, she has decent potential as a magic user, but her stats are lacking overall. Despite her great potential in being gifted with a rare attribute, she hasn't gained the favor of constellations due to her vulnerability and her soft temperament. I've heard that catastrophes hatch from meteorites, but she hasn't hatched from a meteorite. That's right, she did not hatch from a meteorite. She's just a human who was born on planet Earth, and she'll still be human in 5 days. Then how? It's not the girl who becomes the catastrophe, but her future. And even Jungkook can't do anything to stop this catastrophe. Jungkook stared at the emptiness where his chest used to be. It was a wound that could not be healed without using the resuscitation skill. Yu-sung, why did you change your mind? Change? I haven't changed at all. Unlike you, I'm not a regressor in this world. I'm the same catastrophe that you met in your past regression. Then why? Didn't you say this was your third regression? I must have given you a chance in your second, but you failed again. I gave you so much information, but you failed again. This world cannot be changed. You will remain the same, and nothing will ever change. That's what made me decide that this world should end here and now. Hey, what are you up to? And he's reading it. Alright. So, what now? Why are you so startled? Yikes. She startled me. I'm still thinking. Did you forget? She almost killed Jungkook in his third regression. But he didn't die. Same thing. The important thing is that we don't stand a chance if we face her head on. If the delusional demon Kim Nam-woon didn't kill her then, and Nam-woon isn't alive in this regression. Just remember, I've warned you, the best we can do is kill her and prevent her future from ever happening. She's basically a baby. Is that supposed to be baby Thanos? And I'm probably not the only one who thinks that. Many constellations who want to find out what comes next are frustrated. Constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband is bracing himself for the frustration that's about to strike him. Constellation Demonic Judge of Fire is looking forward to your wise decision. Damn it. Our conversation must not have been filtered this time. Well, it's about time they learned about the future. Dokja, I don't think this is right. It's the future. It hasn't happened yet. Maybe we could prevent her from becoming a catastrophe if we took care of her better. The event that makes her a catastrophe happens far in the future. There's nothing we can do about it right now. Jungkook had made similar attempts several times. He looked for Yu-sung as soon as he could and tried to talk her out of it, but he failed. It's good, isn't it? Yes. Honestly, killing her now won't impact our journey to the end. On the contrary, if we don't kill her, Seoul will be in ruins at the slightest mistake. You can see the future, mister? What? I become a very bad person in the future, don't I? Damn it, she must have overheard us. Maybe. How bad will I be? Well, probably the worst person in Seoul. That doesn't surprise me. Why? Because I'm already a bad person. And then I killed him. We have her with the dog. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And she has to kill people to survive, and I guess, survivor's guilt, blaming herself. I'm sorry. And we have her stealing. I'm sorry. I'll be punished for this. I don't deserve to go on living. I know very well that a lot has happened for young Yu-sung to survive in this world. She's done things that anyone else would have done in a world like this, but not everyone can rationalize such actions. Your understanding of the character Shin Yu-sung is increased. Well, you can kill me. I'm ready. If I were the main character in this story, I would have killed her without a second thought. But I'm a reader, and a reader should make choices a reader would make. Don't worry. Your death isn't a part of the ending I want. This is very cool, because we saw this before with Dokja trying to get to the ending that he wants. Character Shin Yu-sung has grown to trust you a little. Your understanding of the character Shin Yu-sung has increased. If I kill her, Jungkook's regressions will become meaningless. Jungkook's fighting to change the past. But I have to die. So wouldn't his fight be meaningless if he ends up killing someone just because of an inevitable future? There's a way to stop the catastrophe. It's possible only if you help me. But what can I do? I'm just a kid and I don't even have a supporting constellation. Who says so? You've gifted Growth Package 1 to the Incarnation Shin Yu-sung. You've gifted Growth Package 2 to the Incarnation Shin Yu-sung. You've gifted New Scenario Anniversary Package to Incarnation Shin Yu-sung. What's all this? It's fine. I've got a lot of I've got a lot of money this panel. I'll prevent this child from dying for Jung-hyuk's sake. And again, I love that he's looking at it from this way too. Jung-hyuk kept trying to make that future not come to pass. So everything Jung-hyuk would do in the future would be in vain, if not for Dokja stepping in to stop this. Beast Lord, Shin Yu-sung. She'll grow up to become one of the 100 strongest people in this world. Who are you? I'm Dokja, Kim Dokja. This child may become a catastrophe one day. Within 5 days, will be my first incarnation in this round. Okay, I see. Because we see that he is, like we saw last time, he was starting to form his own stigma. So he is going to start taking the place of the constellations. You'll become stronger than any of us. Okay, and then we have remaining time 5 days still. So we're halfway through this. Okay, very, very cool. I'm actually going to take a break from recording because it's storming, and like if the power goes out, I might lose footage, and I don't want it to interrupt me in like the middle of a read through. So I'm just going to wait like an hour or two, wait for the storm to clear up. So if there's like a weird jump cut between chapter 91 and 92, that's why. I'm going to take a break for a couple hours and then come back. Sorry about that. It was a much longer jump than I expected. I didn't have time after it stormed to come back and record the rest, so this is me the next day. Last chapter was great though. We're getting into some really, really, really interesting stuff, and I say that as if that hasn't just been Omniscient Reader all along, like it hasn't always been getting into interesting stuff, but I like the stuff with Dokja and working towards his ending, potentially, in a way, becoming a constellation himself, in that he's going to be apparently making his own stigma and giving it out to others, potentially. And I like that a lot of the reason that he's going after his own ending is because he is a reader. He's making readers' decisions, because he's seen all of the things that Yu Jung-hyuk went through, and is kind of doing things to, I don't know, to respect all of the work that Yu Jung-hyuk put in, and to make things work out in an okay way for him. So either way, let's continue reading. Then we have Dokja in the morning. The constellation Demonic Judge of Fire urges you to look after your incarnation. Huh? Gosh, I must have dozed off. Constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband laughs heartily at your decision. Many constellations are intrigued by your decision. Some constellations consider your behavior cocky. Damn it, the constellations won't leave me alone, ever since I've announced that I'll be her supporting constellation. Why don't you have a supporting constellation? I've called it being a supporting constellation, but there's no way I can be one since I don't even have my own fable yet. How can I call myself a supporting constellation when I don't even have a stigma I can lend her? But I probably have more coins than most historical constellations. Constellation Secretive Plotter is watching you with great intrigue. You've been gifted 1,000 coins. It's always funny when we get like the random super chats. Secretive Plotter. I thought he was a historical constellation when I first saw his nickname, but the amount of money he spends and his laid-back manner tells me he's a fabled constellation at the very least. I can't find anything about him in TWSA. Is he from the other world? Who could he be? Is this future Dokja? And then, imagine if I was right and I just threw that out offhanded as a joke and it actually was. It's a bit far-fetched, though. I don't think that Omniscient Reader gets into that, but maybe it is. Maybe Secretive Plotter from the beginning is just future Dokja. And then we have a whirring, and he sees... Oh my god, how'd I forget her name already? It ends in ung, but I don't remember the first part. We have... She's been using all of the potions that he gifted her. Character, okay, Yusung, that's it. Shin Yusung has activated the skill Interspecies Communication level 8. Did you get any sleep, Yusung? Not yet. You'll be penalized if you don't sleep. Get some shut-eye first. Let me practice a little more. And then character Shin Yu-sung has activated the skill Taming, level 7. I love the representation of it here. And it doesn't seem to have worked. Yeah, taming has failed. The monster has begun rampaging, and it yelps as it's stabbed. Ugh, so loud. And they are probably still not on great terms. Episode 90 to Chapter 19, Singularity Part 6. Sorry, I keep feeling like I see something out of the corner of my eye. I don't know if it's something stuck in my eyelashes or something, but I keep getting distracted by it. Since last night, Yu-sung has been practicing to advance her skill level. Activate character profile, just the summary. Character profile, Shin Yu-sung, Beast Tamer, Introspective Killer. We saw all of these except maybe... Yeah, they were at a lower level before, and definitely the stats were lower. So she still hasn't invested a lot into strength, not too much into stamina, which is reasonable, but she's put a lot more than was already in mana. Mana was already her highest stat, and then actually caught up to it with dexterity. Characters using Growth Package 1, 2, and New Scenario Package. Her skills have increased drastically with the 2 growth packages. I'm sure she's the only incarnation in Korea who's receiving this much support. She has innate talent, so her interspecies communication skill will soon reach level 10, and evolve into advanced interspecies communications. But the problem is that she can't even tame a grade 8 monster with stats like that. I don't think I have any talent. That's not true. You have more than enough talent. Yu-sung probably can't use her power because of the trauma she suffered. Oh, and we see the dog from the flashback before. Is something on your mind? I'm scared. Monsters are not the same as pets. I know. You know what? You can make a wish come true when you clear all the scenarios. You know, your nostrils get bigger when you lie. Gil-young said the same thing. Is it true? Alright, and then, of course, I'll be okay, right? Of course, I've picked you myself. I chose you over Soul, and I don't regret doing so at all. And then we have this, awkward moment between them. Mister, if I ever become strong, go on. It's nothing. I'm gonna try again. What was that? I have a bad feeling about this. She stared at my face just now and... Hold on, come to think of it. In TWSA... You're so handsome, Junghyuk. You're the best, Junghyuk. It's great to be good looking. I like you the best, Junghyuk. She was a fan of Junghyuk's. And she's blushing as she runs away. He's going not only the harem route, but Dokja's going the lolly route. Oh my god. Being too young, she wasn't the heroine of the story. She was more like a little sister who tagged along. She and Yumiya fought like... Is Yumiya Junghyuk's sister? Fought like cats and dogs. That would make sense if she's like fangirl of Junghyuk. She's like fangirl of Junghyuk, but also you have the really caring, obsessive little sister of Junghyuk. And again, where is she? She has kind of been missing. I guess she's wherever Huiwon is, but she's been missing for a little bit. Fought like cats and dogs. Mana recovery potion. I forget we saw her once. What if she leaves me for Junghyuk after everything I've done to help her? Will you join me? Yes! And I love this face, the sweat drop from Dokja. He gives her all this power, she joins Junghyuk, and he still fails at the ending because she still turns into whatever she turns into in the story. Hey, don't talk to me. How long are you gonna keep Dokja's like, I need help. I wanted to ask you something. How good looking do you think I am? She's getting pissed immediately. Compared to Junghyuk, I mean. And then immediately comparing to Junghyuk. Why would you even ask such a thing? I'm just genuinely curious. Since graduating high school, I've never had any interest in the way I looked. But from the reactions of people I've met recently, it seems they don't think I'm all that good looking. And then, ouch. I love the first one I read is... The first one The first one I see is that Gil Young face. You are good looking, Dokja. If only you were half as handsome as Master is. You sure do have unique features, says Suyeong. Huh? Is that you, Jung-hyuk? I thought he was supposed to be good looking. The few times I've taken bathroom selfies, I didn't think I looked that bad. Not bad. Maybe a little handsome, too. Kim Dokja, 18 years old, high school student. A constellation who loves to flirt, looks at you pitifully. Just accept it. I wasn't looking to be consoled, I was just curious. All I can do for you is give you my sympathies. Damn it, am I that ugly? No matter what happens, I can't have her meet Jung-hyuk. And that's going to be difficult. Never. She's my incarnation that I've raised to laser eye Dokja. That was delicious. Sangha, are you religious? No, I don't have a religion. Then why did you pray? I was praying to the gods of Olympus, and then immediately, very, very sketchy. I don't think this is a good sign. I see. And he looks over to the yawning, Jusung, was that it? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. We have been saying her name repeatedly, and it's just not sticking in my head, apparently. Suyeong and I will stand guard tonight. Yusung, not Jusung, Yusung, and Sangha, you two should get some sleep. I've hunted the monsters in the vicinity throughout the day to earn coins, and have invested the coins I've earned in increasing Yusung's agility and mana stats. Again, agility's probably good. Dodging attacks for somebody weaker is probably a good idea. Thanks to that, Yusung was able to obtain advanced interspecies communication, but she still hasn't managed to successfully use taming. But in order to seal away that important power of hers, she needs to advance as quickly as possible. You should sleep too. Why's she being so distant? Well, I actually know exactly why. We used to be enemies, and Suyeong and Sangha's stance on many things are the exact opposite of each other. Someone has defeated the catastrophe of ice that awakened in the west. Oh, Jung-hyuk must have managed to fight it off. Then he should have rendezvoused with... Man, I know rendezvous, but I don't think I have ever in my life heard the past tense of rendezvous in English. I wonder, is it different in the original French? It's crazy. I can't say that I have ever heard that past tense. With Hyunsung, too. Where are you, Dokja? Everything's going according to plan as expected. Hey, there's something I wanted to ask you. You're ugly. Damn it, that's not what I wanted to ask you. And he's also wrong. How can you be so petty? Then what is it? I don't think we've seen a more attractive character to me than Suyeong. Sorry. Like, now I'm, like, paranoid that I'm about to get her name wrong since I've gotten Yusung's name wrong so much. It made me paranoid. Have we seen a character as... I mean, Huiwon's attractive. I like Huiwon as a character, like, more than I think of her as being attractive. I don't really, like... It's not forefront in my mind when reading Omniscient Reader how attractive the characters are. They kind of all are, though. Like, I don't know. I'm not exactly interested in guys, but I look at Dokja and, like, I can't see that much of a difference as a reader between Dokja and Jung-hyuk, personally. Jung-hyuk's kind of cornier to me. He has, like, the goofy, I'm a pro gamer, as he wears his trench coat. So it's like, I don't know. I can't really tell for most of these characters. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like... Suyeong's, like, pretty easily the most attractive to me. But I might be forgetting characters. I don't remember that well what Anna Croft looked like without her directly on screen in front of me. Then what is it? What is it you're trying to do? What do you mean? What's your goal? I mean, I just don't get it. You've destroyed the throne, and you even let her live. What is it you're trying to do? There's an ending I want to see. An ending you want to see. That's right. I also had an ending I wanted to write. In your novel? Yeah. Hey, Let me ask you something too. Why'd you plagiarize? You're not bad of a writer. I told you I didn't plagiarize anything. I mean, from the sounds of it, so I have seen some of, like, I talked to other Tower of God creators who have now gotten into Omniscient Reader and gotten into all of these other webtoons. And so I've seen various different webtoons showing up in, like, my subscription feed in the titles and everything. And I've seen some that are like triple S grade resurrection regressor. And I'm like, did they make her, is that like actually her story? Did they make that a thing? Or is that just, manhwa webtoons being so generic that there just are like 12 different ones with that kind of title? Because I feel like, you're not that bad a writer. As much as, like, I don't want to hate on webtoons and manhwa, but as much as I can watch anime and be like, or like read light novels and be like, oh yeah, there are like 90,000 light novels that are the exact same premise and setup. Well, if there are 90,000 of those with the same premise and setup, then there are 90 million manhwa or webtoons with the same sort of triple S rank regressor reincarnated with my sword warrior. There are like a billion of those. You seem to hold TWSA in high regard, but she didn't read it in high enough regard to finish it, but many elements of TWSA were taken from other novels too. Okay, no, that's her saying, you seem to hold TWSA in high regard, but many elements of TWSA were taken from other novels too. Support of transcendental beings, a protagonist who's stuck regressing in a world with a game-like system, survival missions. Isn't it harder to find a novel these days that doesn't have stuff like this? Maybe that's why I'm like, Suyeong's the most attractive. Suyeong is just me, maybe. But yours is a problem because it's the most similar. There's a reason for that. Do you want to hear a story? Yeah, as if. Once upon a time, there was this poor little girl. If this is a story about a poor little girl who used to love to write but gave up on her dreams and resorted to plagiarism to make ends meet, no thanks. And she stops. You can read minds, can't you? I'm not a god or anything. He flinches because that was just exactly her. If I could do something like that, I wouldn't be in this mess right now. And also, he kind of can, and he's not doing a great job. It's so funny because he is at risk of being called out for being able to read minds at the time when he's not actually reading minds. He's just reading her as a person. The character Han Suyeong is using the skill Lie Detection level 3. Damn it. The character again, he gets caught in a lie. Because he gets caught in a lie when he wasn't even actually really using his mind reading. Character Han Suyeong has confirmed you're telling a lie. Well, if you can, try reading my mind right now. I said I can't. I really haven't plagiarized anything. And then, character Han Suyeong has confirmed she's telling the truth. Okay, so she did just make a generic enough... Either she made a generic enough novel that it's just easy to compare it to TWSA because they're all the same, or she thought of the idea first, and whoever wrote TWSA was stealing ideas from her. And also, this is an amazing panel. What? I have read TWSA, but it was by coincidence that my novel turned out so similar. I was only transcribing the dreams I've had. Character Han Suyeong is confirmed that she's telling the truth. Is she using her subconscious to defend herself from the accusation of plagiarism? But you did read it. That's how you dreamed about it. That may be true, but lately I've been thinking, if this reality is based on a novel, and I'm all but a recreation of that novel, maybe my existence itself has been plagiarized. So again, we're getting deeper into who is real here and who's not real. Because, like, is Sang-ah actually real? Is Dokja actually real? Because it's like, sure, Dokja's read the story, but if this is the world of the story, then didn't Dokja just exist in the story as some random no-name mob who got killed and wasn't even on screen? And it's the same with Han Suyeong here. If Suyeong wasn't in the story, but this world is the story, then shouldn't she have existed in past regressions and just been killed? But then again, this third regression is playing out different as the third regression normally goes in the story. It's almost like Dokja's an NPC who's gained sentience. And then it becomes even more complicated when you think about somebody like Sang-ah, because Sang-ah was somebody that Dokja was like, I knew Sang-ah before the scenario started. I knew that Sang-ah had to be real to him, but wouldn't Sang-ah have just been around in the novel itself? She was just killed in the train car with Namwoon and didn't make it further in the story? Wouldn't it have been like that? It's weird to think about, and there was another point I wanted to bring up, but now I lost my train of thought when I was talking about that last point. Dang it, I can't remember what it was I was about to say. But yeah, that sort of thing. It's like, was anybody real before this? Even? Like, could you really say that they were real before this? And I think what I was about to say is, oh no, I remembered it and I'm losing it again. No, I remembered it and lost it again while I was saying that last thing. It's, so Sang-ah, I was talking about if Sang-ah was real before this or anything. If any of these characters... Oh, right. Sorry, I had to pause for a second and just try to think to remember it. It was Yoo Jung-hyuk, because Yoo Jung-hyuk was the character within the novel, but then you have Dokja. Dokja would have probably known if he was like a pro gamer. If he existed in real life, he probably would have heard of the real life Jung-hyuk. So it's like, did Jung-hyuk and did all the people, did they just spawn into... Like, how do the timelines work? How does the world line work? Did Dokja jump into the world of the novel? Or was Dokja the point that was the singularity that was the same, but the world of the novel jumped into Dokja's existence? And if that is the case, then what happened to the existence that Dokja was living before the novel took over? And again, we have Suyeong thinking now, like, is she the actual Suyeong? Because they're in a recreation of a novel, or is she just a copy of the real Suyeong who's existing within the world of the novel? You must be trying to gloss over this issue with that nonsense, but it's just a thought I've had. I've actually thought the same thing myself. It had crossed my mind ever since TWSA became a reality. Has the novel overlapped with our reality, or, again, that's what I just said, or is reality turning into the novel? So yeah, again, has Dokja gone into the novel, or has the novel gone into reality? Hey, let's swap shifts. You sleep first. If you keep spewing confusing stuff like that, we'll lose constellations on our channel. You know, I've been getting fewer coins from them since I've joined you. That's because you keep creating frustrating situations. Shut it. She's so cute. But I have to admit that it's comforting to have her around. Again, yeah, I'm relieved to know I'm not the only one, although she's annoying, who knows this world is a work of fiction. Because even though he can think of Sang-ah as real before this, if you're Dokja, you have to actually start doubting it a little. You have to actually start thinking, okay, was Sang-ah... So I knew Sang-ah before this, but if this is the world of the book, then was she just a random NPC that was supposed to get killed during the original Namwoon stuff? Or was she... or was she actually real? Like, even for somebody like Sang-ah, you have to question how real she is. But if you're Dokja, knowing that there's somebody else who read TWSA makes Suyeong feel realer than the other characters. So if you're Dokja, and you're like, I can only think and hope that I am real, then the next most real person to you would be Suyeong. Like, and it has to be very hard with characters like Hyun-sung or characters like Jung-hyuk. It's very hard to not fall into the trap. I've been saying this from the beginning, to not fall into the trap of being like, well, yeah, I read this story with Jung-hyuk. It's hard to not think of Jung-hyuk as just lines on a page. Like, it's hard to see him as a person, like Dokja did when he first saw the realities of the situations a few weeks ago with everything destroyed, and he's like, oh, it was described in the novel, but I'm actually seeing what Jung-hyuk saw, And it's making me think that maybe Jungkook is more complicated than what I thought of as a reader, if I get to see him as a, like, real person for a moment. It's strangely comforting. Hey, I think I'm getting sleepy all of a sudden. And he falls asleep. Waking up. When did I fall asleep? Is it morning already? Hey, Suyeong, I'll stand guard now, so you should have woke me up. He looks over, surprised. Suyeong? When I woke up from my short but sweet slumber. And she's down. Suyeong had become a corpse. And again, is this what is real? Did she die because she thought about whether she was real or not? Is it because she wasn't real? Or because she was real and was, like, thinking too much about it? Or is it because whoever is manipulating this, like, sees Dokja as, like, the reader. Dokja is the singularity. And the rest is supposed to be fictional. So to have somebody else that's kind of making the fourth wall kind of iffy, is that something that... Because we saw, too, Dokja was trying to stay awake, but he fell asleep even though he was on guard, which is uncharacteristic for him. So was this the author, or was this the story itself? Reality? Is it plausibility? Is it Dokja's, like, fourth wall itself that caused him to fall asleep and did whatever this is to Suyeong? And we have 4 days remaining. Very, very complex stuff. And I feel like this complex stuff is some of my absolute favorite stuff in Omniscient Reader. When we're thinking about who these characters are, who is and isn't real, what this world and story means, especially means to Dokja as the reader. I think when the story gets into that, that's some of the most compelling stuff, and it's really, really, really good. Gosh, it hurts to see what time it is. I really don't have time. I'm going to try to do chapter 93. I really don't have time, but I also don't want to leave you stuck with less than 3 chapters. And into 93, we start out with a big blank panel before chapter 20, Catastrophe of Floods Part 1. Okay, so we're getting into Catastrophe of Floods. That is what they said. Oh no! Yusung? That's what they said that she was, correct? And then he feels for a pulse. And there's actually crackling. And Dokja's still shocked. Dokja? Oh, it's the crackling of the fire. What happened? She's not breathing. Am I in shock right now? That Suyeong is dead? And then, I don't see any wounds. Then has she been poisoned? How's everyone else okay when poison was used? I'm sorry, I must have slept too much. Have you been asleep this whole time too? Yes. Then that would mean that none of us stood guard last night. That means everyone else fell asleep too when I did. But why did I suddenly fall asleep? And he's looking back to her. He sees the bones by the fire. This dust is... Oh, the food they ate. The stem of Yanaspleta. Who cooked our meal last night? I think it was Suyeong. She got us good. And then, this is one of Suyeong's avatars. But why would she pull a prank like this, he thinks. She shouldn't be able to leave, due to her temporary pledge. And he's shocked. Is it because she still thinks, she said there was an ending she wanted to write. Is she still thinking that her and Dokja have separate ideas here, and maybe she still does want to kill Yusung? Hold on. And he pulls his blade and stabs it into the avatar. The avatars don't perish unless their heads are destroyed. Heads? He stabbed her in the heart, though, right? No, maybe he stabbed the head and we're just getting it censored a bit. The avatar of character Han Suyeong is suffering for violating the pledge. Okay, so she used the stem to put them to sleep, and violating the pledge affected the avatar instead of the real body, killing it. Character Han Suyeong has nullified most of the penalties that come from the temporary pledge by sacrificing her avatar. I didn't know her avatars could be used like this. Is she gone? I guess so. Why? It wouldn't matter how many times I asked that. You know, I've been getting fewer coins from them since I joined you. Some friends you are. And then, for your troubles, and we have coins left behind, Suyeong has nothing to gain from being with me. But if she could sacrifice her avatar to leave me, why she stayed with me all this time? I just can't figure it out. I think at first she probably wanted more information and didn't want to use this too early. But I really do think, especially with this being called the Catastrophe of Floods, I think that she still thinks that her mission is different from Dokja's. She probably has a different idea of what they should do. I just can't figure it out. We should get going too. And now we have the whoosh of the wind. Because you read a lot, or because you read a lot, doesn't mean that you understand people any better. That idiot. Shouldn't he at least pretend to look for me? And then we have them all leaving. Well, I'm sure we'll cross paths again. There was no telling whether they'd meet again as friends or enemies. So she's still riding her ending. That afternoon, Yusung's mana and agility points reached the scenario's maximum of 60. Yusung? I don't have a stigma, and I can't lend you any powers like the constellations can, but I have a lot of coins. You don't have to sign the support contract if you don't want to, but if you do, you won't regret it. If I sign this, will I not be able to sign with any other constellations? And he nods. But don't worry, I won't meddle in your affairs like the other constellations. I'll do it. I've decided to trust you anyway. And that's probably a good decision with, again, how much he's given up for her already. The support contract's been agreed upon. You've become the supporter of the incarnation Shin Yusung. You're not a constellation. You cannot use most of the powers that are available to other supporting constellations. Well, I expected that much. This must be it for now. Available powers: support incarnation and encourage incarnation. Constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband smirks. Constellation Secretive Plotter congratulates your first support contract. You've been gifted 5,000 coins. Many constellations want to become your supporting constellation. I'm an incarnation that has another incarnation, even though I'm not a constellation yet. If I sign a contract with a constellation, that constellation will also have Yusung under their influence. Good. The constellations seem to love it. The more incarnations I bring under my support, the number of constellations who want to support me will increase. We have everybody watching be young. My channel is bursting with viewers. He's excited. I can tell without looking. It's time we took off. Let's cross the Han River. Would that be okay? We haven't found a bridge yet. We'll swim across. What? And now, is he going to, since she has the max now, is he going to try to have her use Tame on them? Swim. And he steps into the water, pulling her along with the floaty. That's cute. Yusung, are you sure we're going to be alright? Kim Dokja, we'll get out as soon as it becomes too dangerous. So, act as if we're in danger before real danger strikes. I'm sorry, says Sung-ah. That way Yusung will be able to unleash her innate powers much faster. Make it look as if we're in a dangerous situation, okay? There's no way a regular girl can survive until the 5th scenario. She may seem like a naive girl, but Yusung's character isn't that simple. From the moment we first met, she probably already scrutinized all of her options. Yusung? Yes? Don't run. If you run now, you'll never be able to go back. Just do whatever you can. So, he's going to have her tap into whatever she's been using to survive. Okay. Character Shin Yusung has activated Advanced Interspecies Communication Level 3. Dokja. And one of them comes in to attack. And we get cliffhung on that. Remaining time 4 days still. Okay. Very cool. Of course, I still think we're going to see Suyeong again. She's been set up as too important, especially after this whole conversation. I just think that for now she has to go her separate ways because she thinks that, again, her ending and Dokja's ending are different. Still, we haven't met up with a lot of the other characters like Hyun Sung or Junghyuk is still over defeating that one. They just defeated that catastrophe. So we still need to see what happens next, because if they're not going to defeat Sung, but instead have her become one of their allies, then, this is called Catastrophe of Floods. It just makes you wonder, okay, where do they go from here then? What's the plan now? But either way, I will end things here. We'll have to see where things go in the future. I've been loving Omniscient Reader. I think it's very, very fun. But yeah, I don't think I have much more to say this week. So thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video. Comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's chapters, what you thought of my thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more. Much more Omniscient Reader. Thank you so much. Yeah, subscribe for that if you want. There's tons more on the channel. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want, if you want to help support the channel to help me to continue to make videos, then just drop a super thanks down below if you'd like to. Or if you also want a shout out at the end of every single video and One Piece videos a bit early, then hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you so much to people who are patrons and members. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Holly, Magical Girls, FR Nono and Abyss Knight, Cherryton Students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Pater Diallo. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.